Those present, am I on? Am I good?
Yours wasn't lit.
Okay. Am I good, Andrew? You can hear me? All righty. All right. Those present, starting on my left.
Here, Omer.
Omer.
Kevin McMahon.
Brett Myers.
Denver Kimmery.
Spencer Wilk.
And Misty is not with us tonight, so that means voting member, do I have this right? First alternate is?
No, you are fine. You have, oh, no, you're not, are you? One, all the regulars, 1, 2, 3, 4, so, the alternate, Scott.
Scott will be voting tonight.
There you go.
Welcome. Good thing you didn't go home. All right, so item number 2 on our agenda, consider approval of the minutes from the regular meeting held on February 18th, 2025. Do we have any corrections to the minutes?
Not
take
that I
that as-
saw when I read through before.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, perfect. Motion passes. All righty. Visitor comments. Anybody here want to talk about something not on the agenda? No. All right. Moving on. I don't have to open and close that, do I?
No, you do not.
All righty. All right, item number 4, we're going to conduct a public hearing and consider a request to amend the development and use of lots 1 and 2, Block B, Edgewood Estates, commonly known as 234 Edgewood Drive, by changing the zoning from single-family residential zoning, SF12, to Planned Development Overlay District with single-family residential, SF10, as the base zoning. And Autumn is here to tell us about
Chairman,
it.
Commissioners, Autumn Amon, Community Development Coordinator. We received an application to create a plan to development for the property located at 234 Edgewood Drive. The property owner would like to change the zoning from single-family residential SF12 to single-family residential SF10, along with requesting 4 exceptions to the subdivision ordinance, also creating an overall total of 6 lots. Okay? The applicant is CCM Engineering on behalf of the property owner, Mr. Jason Burkett. Mr. Burkett does live on the property, so it would be for future residential construction of a total of the 5 lots. The property is approximate 4.138 acres, and you must have 2 acres minimum to create a PD. So they do meet that per ordinance. Little history, back in June 2021, City Council did approve a replat of this property into 2 lots. That also did include approval of an exception to the cul-de-sac length.
So
Okay.
Autumn, those 2 lots were defined as what back then, do you know?
I remember that coming before us. It was going to be a father-in-law.
The personal,
Yeah.
Or their, family. Yeah,
Okay.
personal father-in-law. So this request for the special exceptions would allow the property to be consistent with the existing Edgewood Estates that's there already, okay? Those exceptions are the property may be developed with a cul-de-sac street with a length greater than 600 foot, however, not more than 800 foot. The street may be constructed with asphalt material other than concrete. The property may be constructed without sidewalks, and the property may be developed with drainage ditches in lieu of concrete curb and gutter. Public hearings are required for this request. I did send out notices to everybody within 200 foot. From those notices, I have not received any inquiries. However, just outside that 200 foot, I did have a resident come in inquiring on what it was, took a look at the concept plan and stated he was fine and had no issues with it. Okay? Now you do have the ordinance for consideration tonight. Stating changing the zoning from from SF12 to SF10 along with the 4 exceptions. Also in your briefing, on the second page, there is a findings list. This might help when considering looking at the special exceptions. This is what City Council will they look at also. Now, tonight, this is just zoning. If it does get approved by city council, you will see this again at preliminary plat. At that stage, that's when we will review the civil engineering drawings. At that time, we'll look at paving, drainage, et cetera, everything. Tonight is
I was
just a
looking for
request.
that. I wasn't sure where it was. I was like,
Yeah, tonight's just a request to change the zoning and asking for those special exceptions. Also in your packet, I did submit existing zoning regulations for SF12 and SF10. Basically, doing a comparison, you had 3 differences. First one, yes, 12,000 square foot lots to 10,000 square foot lots. Minimum lot width with SF10 is 90. Minimum lot width, I'm sorry, let's go back here. Minimum lot width for SF12 is 90 foot. SF10 is 80 foot. Maximum lot coverage for SF12 is 35% by main structure and accessory buildings. SF10 is 40%. So basically, those are the 3 differences, then along with asking for the special exceptions. So with that being said, that is the end of my briefing. We do have the property owner here tonight, Jason Burkett, and Luke Spicer with CCM Engineering. Answer any questions you may have.
Can we ask Scott questions, or is he holding until the later meeting?
Can they ask you a question? Yes. And-
You can always ask me a question.
Will you answer? That's the
Yeah.
real,
That's the, yeah.
Any concern on adding new asphalt? I don't know if we've added new asphalt anywhere else in this city for any extension past just repair of existing.
In this area, to facilitate development of this, it's probably best to match the existing subdivision.
Okay. And then for sewer onto those lots,
Oh, there's plenty of capacity.
plenty, okay.
So we have a visual on the size of the lots. Tequesta, they're an SF10, right?
They're a planned development now. It was a SF15. Tequesta?
Yeah.
Originally.
Okay.
It's a PD
It's a PD now, planned development.
patio home zone. It's not SF10.
Okay.
SF10 would be,
Is Wichita?
Just north of Highland Village Road right there, Clearwater.
Yeah.
That whole area, that's all SF10.
Clearwater
To the
ABC, Lake Vista Estates.
yeah, 80
I
foot
think
wide.
Montclair might be SF10. Montclair 1 and 2,
Okay.
almost the whole east side. You start getting into SF12 over in the Village Estates. Like Highland Hills 1, 2, 3, and 4 are SF10s. That's around the Selmeyer, Medina area.
Okay. All righty.
As far as the extension of the cul-de-sac, is that something then the city would maintain?
It would be dedicated as an asset.
Okay. Any concerns over the floodplain running through 2 of the lots?
you're getting to my question. Look at that.
Sorry,
That's what seniority gets you.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
gotta be quick.
No, they wouldn't be able to build
Right.
under the 537, but
What about 2 facilities, so the sewer and everything? I mean, I'm sure you guys were all here when the big flood happened and washed out Highland Shores Boulevard or Highland Shores Road. That whole pond, I don't know how far it went up into your property, but I know that that pond came all the way up there. That would flood and potentially leak sewer and everything backwards into that pond, depending on where those pipes and everything were, I would assume.
the main that they would tie into is outside of the floodplain. Although we do have a main in the floodplain, it's a trunk main, not a residential main.
Go ahead, sorry, I jumped my turn.
No.
Is the intent to sell those or to build a private estate? To sell, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jason Burkett, 234 Edgewood Drive, Highland Village. Good evening. It would be to sell.
Okay. So that pipe barrier, I was over there this morning, that pipe barrier comes down and it becomes just regular part of the neighborhood, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then, this is a general question. You may not have the answer, he may or Otter may, but is there a ruling on a cul-de-sac leading to a cul-de-sac?
What do you mean, the existing?
Meaning there's a cul-de-sac in existence and now you're going to add another cul-de-sac 100 meters down the road from what I saw?
Yep, thank you.
I mean,
When the engineer designs that, we'll straighten out.
it'll straighten out the
The,
existing. Does that mean that the existing property owners get like an extra 10 feet because that cul-de-sac disappears or?
It's still in the public right of way, however, they will
Okay.
gain some yard
Okay.
that they can mow for us in the public right of way.
Like the way you think.
Gain some additional parking
It's a
spots? or-
non-conforming cul-de-sac there now, right now.
Yeah.
So what
Surprised I didn't
would be
bump into it
proposed and
enough
what
to
would
turn
be
a fire truck
approved
around.
as
I went down there
designed,
too,
it'd
just check it out.
be a fully designed cul-de-sac per city spec.
And I'm going off memory here from the last time this piece of land was in front of us. There was a question about a fire hydrant. And there was one at the end of the cul-de-sac that met the criteria. Now, with this road, with the new road being put in, where's the fire hydrant? Is it in the middle of where the road is, or does it have to be moved?
It'll be where the road is. It might need to be shifted over
Okay.
to get out of proposed paving or proposed bar ditch, but that's
Not a big deal.
That's nothing.
Okay. All right.
Any concerns about lot size? There's obviously a variety of sizes too, but the smaller ones at 10,000, 11,000. Plenty big, 80 feet across, that's pretty
I
wide
don't
lot.
have a concern about lot sizes.
Okay.
I'm assuming when we get the engineering specs, we'll get a better idea, but, I mean, the building itself cannot be within the floodplain, I know that for a fact. I'm assuming, unless we're going to raise that or something, but it does speak to concerns we've had before in other developments as far as parking and everything goes in the street and street width and so on and so on, right?
This will meet the requirements as far as the street width.
Yeah, it's 50 foot, so.
Yeah.
They'll build the additional per city spec.
No concerns about turnaround in the cul-de-sac with the fire trucks, anything like that?
It'll be built to the
Yeah. Okay.
spec size. They can't turn around there now with the non-conforming.
Yeah, I try to turn around with my F-150.
Call it a
I don't see how
cul-de-sac,
they
but
turn
it's
around now.
really not. So it'll be an improvement.
Okay.
When the lake hits the spillway now, how close does it get to your home?
I've lived there for about 5 years. The previous owner, Russell Tritt, and I are keeping pretty good contact. He told me it's come up to the swimming pool berm, but never really too close to the home itself. But you would have to drive through about a foot of water through the driveway. There's a sort of a slump in the driveway from the house to the main road. He said it is like a low water crossing, but there is no movement in the water, if that answers your question.
The question would be, though, how many of those lots flood?
None. They're all outside of that flood zone. We've had detailed topos done to show that. And that low water portion is much closer to my home than it would be to the lots that we're developing. It would be on the south side of the cul-de-sac itself. The cul-de-sac wouldn't be in that part.
Right. I mean,
I don't know if y'all can see, but
yeah, I'm going to assume that Lot 5 is going to flood.
it does affect these two lots, but there's
Yeah.
a lot of build space on those lots.
Right. Yeah, they're the larger lots anyway.
then
I know it's been a couple years since we had that, it's been a couple years, it's been probably 10 years since we had that really big flood. There were houses on the other side of shores that you couldn't get to because you had to drive through about 200 feet of lake to actually get up to them, so.
What he's referring to, crossing the driveway's right here.
Oh, yeah.
Across here, but there's a drainage swale that runs through the property like that.
And that's your driveway, right, Jason, is the
Yes,
one
sir.
that goes down the middle there? Okay. I thought it looked like a pretty straight shot when I went over there, so.
And when the civil plans are designed, we'll have good drainage calculations to size a culvert crossing there.
There's no culverts going in though, there's just ditches.
There'll be driveway culverts.
And
And depending on how far the cul-de-sac goes, his driveway is still going to remain. So, if he may not choose to install a culvert, if the homeowner is okay with the
The little dip.
dip in his driveway.
Well, now, those two lots, so what is it, would be 5 and 3, they've got to have special insurance for that lot in order to have a building on those lots. National Flood Institute insurance or something like that.
They'll have
Does
to have
that
elevation
become
certificates.
their property, who's selling the property, or does that become the person that's actually buying the home's responsibility to identify that? Do we know?
Buyer. So for flood insurance, yeah, like you said, they can get an elevation survey and show that the structure is outside, above the floodplain or not built in the floodplain. But when it crosses the property, they typically have to have flood insurance. But again, elevation certificate, they can make changes, so.
If it touches the property, you're going to have flood insurance for sure.
Right.
To get an elevation certificate, that flood insurance will be significantly decreased, the
Do you have
cost.
to get a waiver from the Corps?
No, you won't get a waiver.
Nope.
No?
No, you can.
It's a federal regulated easement.
And the floodplain may change. It may go down. They change. FEMA changes it up, down, inside out.
It may, and I'm not trying to bring up current events, but I know that they did have to go back and get a special exemption in order to build some of that property that flooded down in Kerrville. And they were called out for not having federal flood insurance, not personal property, but actually federal flood insurance, so.
It seems like they granted that pretty easily too, and they're saying now in hindsight, maybe they should spend more time focusing on.
I mean, that's kind of my concern. I mean, I'm all about separating the property and helping, build those homes. I'm just worried that someone that may occupy those homes may not realize that they weren't here 10 years ago, or I can't remember how many years ago it was. I meant to look it up.
2015 was the big one.
Was it 2015? Wow, it seemed like a lot longer than
I
that.
only know because it's spray painted all over the bridge.
Oh. So in 2015, when that whole area was just, I mean, you couldn't drive down Highland Shores Boulevard, so, or Highland Village
Highland
Road. I know, I get them backwards. My wife corrects me all the time. Okay. So I guess the question is this is to Autumn, my question. Did you have questions before I take your time? Sorry. We're just approving we're not approving any design or any structure or anything like that, or any
That's
raise or something of the floodplain. We're really only,
Request for the zoning,
Right,
changing
from
it.
10 to 12
and
from
the
12 to 10.
Special exceptions, yes.
SF12 to SF10 with the 4 exceptions. That's what we're considering tonight.
All right. Anybody got any more questions? No? Any discussion, comments?
Make a motion to accept
We
the.
can't do it yet.
You can do a public hearing.
Yeah, I got it. We do the public
Been there in the public
close.
hearing.
Sorry, I forgot we were doing one.
Sorry, I got all my stuff here. All right. I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:20. Anybody here want to talk? No, we'll close the public hearing at 7:20. All right. Discussion, opinions, thoughts. My opinion is it matches the rest of the neighborhood. I mean, it's not.
It's already,
And
it
it's
would look goofier if you did curve
right.
anything else.
And it's at the end of a cul-de-sac. It's not a through street being,
Backs up to the park, backs up to the lake.
does it?
Yeah.
How much of it can you see from the park? Where's my little
Only
map?
that the two on the right when you're going down would
Yeah.
abut Doubletree.
Okay.
This is Doubletree right here.
Yeah.
So it's all that treed area that you don't really see anything except maybe that one little section right there. And it's already,
Fine.
I mean, it's all houses.
So,
It's
yeah,
all
all houses there, so.
Yeah.
Right. These would be the only two that.
And no one are on Edgewood.
Three.
Although, are they going to put all
It's
their houses up
It's all
for sale again?
trees.
Sorry. All right, well, anybody want to make a motion?
Now I'll make a motion
All right.
to accept the exceptions or approve the special exceptions to change from SF 12 to a planned development overlay district with single-family residence SF 10.
We're just making the recommendation, right? We're not, or we actually,
We are voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
All right, Spencer seconds it. All in favor?
Discussion first.
Oh,
Aye.
discussion. Oh, we already discussed.
You discussed outside the public hearing.
Oh,
Now we're discussing any discussion, then we vote.
any discussion? All right.
Could I just add,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, did you understand the, what we're doing in reference to the zoning, and then when the civil plans come forward? They'll be at preliminary plat, okay. Wanted to make sure that was clear. Okay.
I'm clear. I just have concern over those lots that are, because I did take a look
That
at that one, and
floodplain
that
type.
one has got on a complete downslope. That lot 5 is completely downsloped into the lake, so. So we'll see on the civil engineering side.
Correct.
All right, now we can vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. It's 6-0. All right. Thank you. You can hang around for the rest of us. And,
The next 3 minutes.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Jason. Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right, now we have Autumn to give us future stuff.
Future stuff, so. You want to read the agenda item number?
Oh. Item number 5. Do I have an item 5?
Yeah. Future P and Z meetings.
Oh. See, I told you, I'm out of practice here. I'm going to let Brent read it since he has it in front of him.
We would like to receive the status report on various upcoming projects.
There it is.
Okay, so the next meeting will be August 19th. We will be having a meeting then. And I do plan, I have several applications, more than I have had, so I do plan on having probably now through November, December, probably every month, I'll end up having a meeting. I've got 4 submittals right now, site plan, wing drone delivery, and there's a lot of components, moving parts in reference to, especially that one, public hearings, so that would be it.
Drone delivery sounds fun.
Yeah, that's going to pack this house.
Generating that one from scratch, so, yeah.
All right, we will close the meeting at 7:24.